Yo, what up, Mercs? Welcome to another great episode. Got an exciting one for you guys. I will be talking with one of the best up and coming artists here in SoCal. Not gonna get too much into it. I'm gonna let you guys enjoy the video. But of course, before we get into it, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. And appreciate you guys watching. Let's jump right into it. And like I said, hope you guys enjoy. Peace out.
Just call me angel of the morning, angel. Just touch my cheek before you leave me.
Hey, what up, Mercs? Welcome to another great episode of Mercs on the Mic. Got another great special guest with me, an amazing local artist here in SoCal area. Kevin, how you doing today?
I'm good, Jay. How you doing?
Pretty good, just early morning, busy, but nothing crazy. How
Dope.
about yourself? How about you doing?
Same. Looking forward to talking to you and like we were talking earlier, going to watch the Thunderbolts tonight.
Nice. Yeah, I'm excited. I've heard great things about it, so hopefully they all live up to what everybody's saying and not
Hmm.
just another Marvel movie.
Yeah. That's honestly what I'm hoping for, especially with superhero films and all that stuff. Like I love like besides comic book stuff, I love movies. So um, when stuff like superhero movies do things like other movies, just using
Hmm.
superhero characters,
Hmm.
that usually is a better sign for me. Like, oh, I think I'm gonna like it, opposed to being
Yeah.
like the same old formula for like bad guy, end of the world, stop them. Yeah.
Hmm. That's why I like the Marvel movies because they like it's not it may be a Thunderbolts movie, but it's part of another. It's basically like a series going on to
Hmm.
end up how all the Avengers movies, and then
Yeah. Yeah.
supposedly from what I heard, there's two end credit scenes in this movie, and one of them has to do with the Doomsday. So
I heard that too. I'm actually ever since I heard that, I'm trying to do my best to be more careful. Like, as long as like today goes by well, I'm like steering clear from all the social media and all that stuff.
yeah, I've been off TikTok as much as possible. Like I'll scroll through, and then if I see something Marvel related or something, I'll be like, "Oh,
Yeah, me too.
funny." So yeah, let's just dive right into it. So obviously, I want people to get to know you. So tell me a little
Yeah.
bit about yourself. Like, what got you into becoming a comic book artist?
I've always liked to draw. I hear a lot of artists, and I know a lot of artists that have drawn for like a long time.
Hmm.
And for me, like my dad taught me how to draw when I was younger, and I just thought that was cool. And I was
Hmm.
like, the thing that I remember him drawing was the Red Power Ranger,
Okay.
and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then the next day, I had to be like 3 or 4. I was just basically drawing the same thing he drew,
Hmm.
um, the best I could. But then besides that, growing up, since I was younger, like in elementary school and all that, I've been pretty just being the school artist or whatever.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until like high school around then I was like, uh, I liked art, but I kind of moved on from that. I actually wanted to be like an NFL, like professional NFL wide receiver, like enter the draft and all that stuff. But
Uh-huh.
I go to play college football and all that, but I didn't get like as tall as I wanted to be.
Hmm.
And uh, honestly, like not that I would say where I'm from is like not a place where you can get scouted or anything like that, but I realize it's a lot harder to achieve your dreams of getting big and successful NFL wise opposed to
Hmm.
being an artist. So I was like, you know what? After 4 years of like high school, I was like, basically like I'm tapped out, retired from playing football and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
as a life goal and life career, I thought like being an artist is something that I enjoy doing and know I could do even when I'm a lot older.
Hmm.
So yeah, ever since like 2020. I graduated in high school 2020, so I was basically with the lockdown pushing myself, getting better as much as I could, and then um, once like 2022, a lot of I came by a lot of local like art shows, like pop-ups. That
Mm-hmm.
was like a big trend. And I just decided like let's try this out. I've never like set up anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
and my art teacher from high school was like, "Hey, you want to set up like just set up and see how it is, see if you like it." And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Yeah, sure." And from then on, I was just looking around and seeing where I can like maybe make some extra money
Mm-hmm.
with my art, and then realizing I can make more money doing just kind of focusing on doing like conventions and more focused like events based off like comic books and nerdy stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, like pretty recently, it's been probably like I'd say like a good full year of me just doing events and getting to the point where I'm at now.
That's good, man. It's
Hmm.
I definitely see you at a lot of events. That's how we me
Yeah,
me and you became friends because we literally
yeah,
ran
yeah.
into each other at almost every single convention that
Hmm.
we go to. That's
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. And I
Hmm.
can definitely relate to you on the sports side because I grew up playing basketball and I actually played college basketball and
Oh,
then I
whoa,
played
that's cool.
I actually played 2 years of professional basketball, but COVID finished all that. So
Yeah, like it kind of like I wouldn't say like was a reality check, but it was more like just a way of like kind of like reassessing like what you really want to do. Because at the time,
hmm
everyone's thinking, I don't know if Life is gonna go back to what it was.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it was like, I got to see what other things I could do away from people.
hmm
Yeah, so art was like easy to do because all I need to do is just make it by myself and then post it up online, and then people could see it without actually having to go in person.
Mm. That's the crazy thing about social media
Hmm.
nowadays is instead of having to go like when I hear stories when I go to like panels like Todd McFarlane and stuff like that when they talk about them trying to get into the industry like they had to go to conventions just for people to see. Now you can just post it on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and
Hmm.
thousands and millions of people can see your artwork.
Yeah, it's like doing conventions is honestly like I'm thinking back then too. Like they had it probably was easier to break in professionally
hmm
because obviously if those editors or people who have the power to give you like a gig or an opportunity and they see you ready to go,
hmm
you're already at the convention, so it's like, oh dude, might as well hire you right here. But
Yeah.
now with the internet, and also them being really good too.
hmm
But then now everyone's really good and everyone could see everything, so now it's like you don't realize like, or as an artist, a lot of people can post their artwork online, and then it's just so many to choose from. So still having conventions like coming back from COVID and all that was like really cool because now you can meet the people that you like from
hmm
online in person, and that definitely makes like the appeal of their art better.
Yeah. So So, what's a typical creative process for like how do you come up with your ideas and how do you like okay, this is what I want to put from my brain to this paper. What are your steps onto doing that? And while you
Mm,
talk about that, I'm going to put up some of your work cuz
cool, cool.
like I said, I'm a huge fan of your work, so I want everybody else for
Oh,
sure
thanks,
to
man.
see.
Kind of like, okay, so let's talk about this one, right?
Mhm.
I honestly started it like probably a couple days ago and finished it the same day.
Mhm.
Like I was like um just came back from seeing the day before I just saw Revenge of the Sith because they brought it back in the theaters,
Mhm.
and I wanted to draw something for it because 20th anniversary, and that reminded me. I was like, man, that was the first movie I ever saw as a kid, and I'm
Okay.
like thinking about it. I was like, dang, I can't believe my dad took me to watch. I would have been 3 years old to watch that movie, so I'm surprised he took me. But um, that was something that I was like, you know what, this is something I've never like actually drawn, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so I was like,
Mhm.
I would love to basically get back into drawing Star Wars characters because for a minute I was around the time like The Mandalorian was out, I was
Mhm.
big into drawing all that, but not into drawing um, like Obi-Wan or Anakin or any like Jedi like that, but
Mhm.
kind of like what like just because watching the movie inspired me to draw them, and I was like, oh, I want to draw obviously this scene, but something a little different, something you haven't seen before,
Mhm.
but uh, in my like in my personal view.
Yeah. And I really
Yeah.
really like your style. It's like, do you is this like like this leads into my next question. Basically, like, did you like get your style from somebody else, or is this like a style you tried to pick up on yourself? Because it gives me like that cartoony vibe, which is pretty cool. Because you still have some live action, like live features within your cartoons.
I was thinking that too. Like, I've always loved like simpler shapes and simpler designs
Mm-hmm.
when artists are a little more bold with their anatomy or their choices of how they want to draw like a character.
Mm-hmm.
I always appeal to artists like Bruce Timm, who did like
Okay.
Batman, the animated
Mm-hmm.
series. He just was able to kind of like condense the human figure and make it
Mm-hmm.
appealing, male or female,
Mm-hmm.
and kept the features that made it so you could tell who they were, but then as well as look good and distinct from other artists. And for most of my life, I've been drawing a lot of like traditional like comic book or like traditional like anatomy, traditional like what you would see in a regular comic book.
Mm-hmm.
But this past December, there was no events, and I wanted to prep up for this year. And I was like, you know what? I kind of want to do something a little more exciting for me
Mm-hmm.
and something fun for me to draw, which is um, what I started off was calling it the Mighty Mini style, but then it just ended up kind of growing into what my own style. So big
Mm-hmm.
hands, big feet, almost like a stockier build. Some characters already suited, like a Wolverine, like that character it fits the style, but like a Batman,
Mm-hmm.
he can either go shorter or bigger. It's just like he can look like that, but let's see another character next to him to see like what he might look like next to like I don't know, a Spider-Man or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
But I guess for my like to go back to the question, like something like that Superman, I um, love Superman. He's my favorite character, so I wanted to do something justice, especially for Superman Day was when I made that piece.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess just wanting to kind of create something that you feel like, I guess, an emotion. You feel some sense of like like dynamic isms, like you got all the
Mm-hmm.
chains coming out, and that was just like, oh, dude, like if I can make you feel like you can like dodge it or look out because he's like in the midst of like breaking out,
Breaking through,
that's a
yeah.
good feeling
Because I can see, especially like towards the bottom part, you can see like the chains coming
coming
out
out.
and stuff
Yeah,
like
and the
that.
top. Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I could definitely see it. Especially,
Cool.
I definitely like the your crypto. I know everybody's
Oh,
in love with.
thanks.
I know
Oh
everybody's in
yeah.
love with crypto right now, especially after
Hmm.
the trailer came out.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. But yeah, that's kind of like basically. I think of if I were to just tell someone who like this is where I'm gonna start. I think of a character or think of what I want to draw.
Mm-hmm.
Lay down the shapes of what I want the pose or what I want the viewer to feel when I draw it, and then pencil it, um, like the shapes where it was, like create like a very rough like look,
Mm-hmm.
like very sketchy, kind of like you. Sometimes some people can't even tell what it is,
Mm-hmm.
but then I hit them with like ink and kind of like define the lines and pick out the lines I really like. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes especially when I work in black and white, if I don't like the the thickness of a line, I use some whiteout to thin it out,
Mm-hmm.
or just redraw that line. And then if it's watercolor, or if I color that piece myself, like a piece like that, I basically just color it with watercolor, fix it up, and make sure the color covers like any mistakes that I don't like. So yeah, there's a lot of imperfections that build up to a piece that, like, at least I'm happy to present, because even if there are imperfections, I either kept them or I didn't notice them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So do you, because I know every artist is different. So
Mm,
do you do your like shapes like circles and then try to draw in lines and then after you'll do like the inking, or do
hmm.
you automatically, like, let's say you'll draw this and then ink it right after, if you get what
It
I
it's
mean.
the first one. I get you. I'd say the
Uh-huh.
first process is more typical and more what you see.
Mm-hmm.
For artists who just go straight to it, like, they probably have drawn that thing so many times, it's a
Mm-hmm.
little easier. Like, I could do that for certain like poses or certain characters, but like mainly just their head, like I don't need to draw like the circle or break down like for example Spider-Man. He
Mm-hmm.
basically is just a bald head, but the
Yeah.
webs and the eyes are there, and I don't really need to for just like a Spider-Man head. And
Mm-hmm.
then if he's just standing there, it's a lot easier for me to just kind of draw that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I typically go with the first process when it comes to kind of coming up with something that is like brand new or something you don't see. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I get props to the ones that do like can just straight draw and then ink
Mm,
it right after.
yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how you do that.
Yeah,
I
there's a few
s-
artists that could just knock it out like that.
yeah, I saw when we were at San Diego, the Rocket Con, there was an artist, I forgot his name, but he was literally, without looking at anything, no like reference or nothing, he was just drawing Daredevil. And it looked like a realistic version of Daredevil.
Mm.
I'm like, I don't know how the heck are you doing that. That's
Practice, man. A
yeah.
lot of practice.
So Um, so what are your goals? Like, where do you want to, where do you see yourself, or where do you want to see yourself this take you? Do you want to be an actual comic book artist, like drawing in the comics, or do you want to be just a cover artist, or both, or what's your end goal for this?
For me, I really want to just work professionally,
Mm-hmm.
um, whether it is for, interiors of comic books or the cover,
Mm-hmm.
uh, whether it's trading cards, product, drawing stuff for products or stuff like that. It's just kind of
Mm-hmm.
work where I can professionally, but if I were just to kind of focus, it'd be um, I would love to just be an overall comic book artist who can do a cover and draw stories and interiors as well.
Nice. And
Yeah.
have you heard anything or like gotten close to that or?
I feel like this past year I've got a lot of traction. Um, I've from hearsay. I
Mm-hmm.
like to, like, people let me know, like, oh, they know who you are, or
Mm-hmm.
they're noticing, and they can recognize your work with your face. And I'm just hoping this year, or I'm hoping this year or next year I'm getting as close as I can get to the
Mm-hmm.
next step to get offered like a professional um, opportunity.
That's cool. I definitely see it. Like, if I see your comic book or if I see your cover art somewhere, trust me, I'm gonna pick it up because
Oh, thanks, man. Thank you.
as you can see, I'm a fan of your work. I have it already
Yeah,
up on the
yeah.
wall. So
Yeah, you got what you got, probably. I think that Deadpool that you have where he's smelling the guns is probably the one of the first times I've drawn him like seriously. So that one
oh
I'm happy
yeah,
that you have.
yeah, it's an awesome piece. And then I have the trading card you gave me at
Oh yeah, yeah.
WonderCon too.
Yeah, yeah.
So I have it
That
with
was a cool one.
my hot toy back here,
Oh,
Deadpool.
that's sick.
Yeah, but so, what are your favorite parts of being a comic book artist or an
Mhm.
artist in general? And
Mhm.
then, what are your least favorite parts?
That's a pretty good question. Um My favorite part is probably the money. No, I'm just kidding. But like my favorite part probably has to be just being able to share with other people who, appreciate it, like you,
Mm-hmm.
people who are also artists or just fans of just seeing their favorite character drawn
Mm-hmm.
differently or presented differently. But I really love conventions for that because it's like a perfect place where people, you don't even need to buy anything to have an
Mm-hmm.
interaction, and that's something that I love, and um, I hope to bring to people who stop by the table or like to see whatever I got, But that's probably my favorite part about being an artist is just being able to share with like-minded people. My least favorite part is probably just like, mm, I guess my least favorite part is I wouldn't even say like trying to work because I like all that stuff, even the stuff that's like you have to think a little extra because
Mm-hmm.
some things are a lot harder to kind of like come up with. But I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I guess the competitiveness, like, there's just so many artists that like not every artist is gonna have the same opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And if I were, uh, in charge of anything, I would hopefully give a chance to all artists to at least showcase their work and get it shared upon people because everyone has their certain, preference or interests. So it's not possible that can never be possible. But I'd say being able to give fair opportunity for uh, artists all over, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what kind of advice would you give to somebody that's trying to get into art or doing art and trying to get into like cons and stuff like that? Or just a good what a good advice would you give somebody?
I'd say be prepared. Make
Mm-hmm.
sure you feel confident with what you have. Like, even if it's not a lot, because you don't need a
Mm-hmm.
lot, you just need quality.
Yeah.
And if you have quality and you have a way to sell it without having to just stick to selling the original piece, it's smarter in your end if you at least want to make the table back because the tables are expensive.
I've heard.
Especially if you go to a few times. If you, yeah, especially if set up a row of events, it's kind of like, all right, well, I got to make sure I do my best to make the table back, and if I could profit, great. So be prepared to have a lot of um, whether it's prints, stickers, or whatever you want to do. Just be able
Mm-hmm.
to have your artwork be sold in a like economical way because a lot of people love art. A lot of people are willing to spend money on just a piece of paper,
Mm-hmm.
really, because that's what they're spending it on. It's what is on that piece of paper that is distinct and exclusive to the artist that they're willing
Mm-hmm.
to uh, give up their like hardworking money for.
Mm-hmm.
It's just yeah, be prepared and then be confident enough to do new things like being able to do like commissions in person, like just draw in person, be able to talk to them and just like learn how to speak, um, not just like like
Mm-hmm.
not just trying to sell them or something, but just casually talk to them. I wouldn't like like push my like work on anyone. I just would say, hey, if you have any questions, let me know. But just
Mm-hmm.
talk to them and get to know them and like see what they're into. And if you have something to show them that they might be into, that's even better. So yeah, just be prepared. Have good people skills, and just be confident. So those
Mm-hmm.
three things I'd say is most important for your work because even if you have the greatest stuff, sometimes an interaction can turn a lot of people off with just sticking around, and that's something you don't want.
Yeah. So for my last question for you, I know you said you had you looked up to a lot of artists, but
Mm.
if you could collaborate with any artist, living or dead, who would it be?
I guess. Hmm. I don't know. Like I have to say, well, my favorite, my top three favorite artists right now
Mm-hmm.
has to be. It's funny because both of them have the same name, but one is Daniel Warren Johnson. Number
Mm-hmm.
two is Dan Mora, and number three, I'd probably say like Scotty Young. So
Mm,
those
okay.
three artists, I'd love to work with some way. I know Dan Moore is more exclusively just artists,
Mm-hmm.
but Daniel Warren Johnson and Scotty Young have the more creative, like they're also writers as well, and they're willing to like basically tell a story with other people's art.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to collaborate with them. Um, but for me, like when I go to cons and I meet like art heroes like that, um, my whole thing is try to hopefully let them know like, hey, I'm an artist, and also get like something nice to be said. You know, it feels good when an artist you like says something
Yeah.
nice and gives you some respect with what you have. And I'm just like, oh, that's literally all I need. Like, I don't even need a picture or signature. I just need that like a little interaction, and it makes me feel good.
Mhm. And that was I was gonna ask like a question within a question. Have you ever gotten a chance to show another artist some of your artwork?
Yeah, I make sure I do. Like, if I'm not tabling at an event, I always bring my portfolio with me just to let people
Mm-hmm.
know, uh, because they come up across a lot of fans. I want to let people know I'm a little more than a fan. Hopefully, like a
Mm-hmm.
collaborator one day. A fellow fellow artist as well. So yeah, there's been a few times like I got to meet Daniel Warren Johnson last San Diego Comic Con,
Oh,
and that
nice.
was my first time ever. And I made sure like I basically made some artwork of his characters and was able to take a photo with him and give to him. And then I got to meet Jim Lee in November,
Oh,
uh,
nice.
and I was able to present to him my portfolio. Um, and basically, whenever there's an opportunity to just share my work, I make sure to just have that on me. And then, yeah, it's been overall really cool experiences. Really like as like the way I see it, the way I think about it, as a kid, if I were to like tell my younger self like who um, knew or didn't know these artists,
Mm-hmm.
they could like he eventually I just tell him like, hey, you know what, like I I just want to make that little version of me who liked to draw realize like, oh, dude, you could pursue this career and you could
Mm-hmm.
really like just keep doing what you're doing because when I was younger, I never thought like I could be an artist professionally, even though there was a lot of opportunities to. It didn't hit me until more recently that you can make a pretty decent living and hopefully a better life for yourself doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
And an artist that like basically uh, preached that was obviously Todd McFarlane,
Mm-hmm.
and I really like all the stuff that he says, and I respect him. Like he's actually one artist I've yet to meet, but
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like waiting for the right opportunity to get to meet him, and then give him like a piece of like Spawn artwork or something like that.
Yeah. And maybe because I know I got to meet him again because I've met him twice already. I
Hmm.
got to meet him again at WonderCon, and he was saying that he just moved from Arizona. So he lives
Hmm.
here. He lives in Pasadena now. He was saying.
Yeah, yeah. I heard that from someone as well, and then I saw he did a signing at a GameStop in
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I was like, wow, that's crazy that he's like local.
Yeah, and so he was saying too that he was gonna try to get to do more like meet and greets and stuff like that because he says he wants to be more connected with his fans and stuff like that. Because he shared a story at WonderCon at his panel about how one of the art he was a kid at one of the conventions and he was seeing how some of the artists were treating some of the fans and just pushing them away or just like doing quick signings and blowing them off and just like, oh, I just signed this, get my money and get out of my face type thing. And he's like,
Hmm.
that's not who I am because without my fans, I'm basically nobody.
That's what I'm saying. Like someone like that on his level, someone who's basically super respectable. Like everyone loves him
Mm-hmm.
and loves not just what he's done, but who he is. Uh, I respect that. Like I know um him and Jim Lee and a few other artists out there like Daniel Warren Johnson, they don't charge for
Yeah.
signatures. Like they
Mhm.
don't do that. Like I really like that because in the end you're just signing your name on something that means something to that person.
Mhm.
And I think that's like a really cool thing, especially because um you know, you could tell when someone's a fan,
Yeah.
opposed to like, oh,
Mhm.
I don't really know who you are. I just see your name here and I'm gonna
Mhm.
resell it. So there's a difference, but that's a really cool thing that he like is trying to do that, and he said that because that's something to me that means the most to me. That's why the cons or just at small events doesn't really matter the size. It's just like being able
Mhm.
to interact and share your work in person, even better. Just to really leave them with a cool moment, and then I think that's something that, especially when I meet people who I've come across a few times, it's just even better because then not just to showcase new work that they probably miss on Instagram or on social
Mhm.
media, but just like hey dude, like I don't know how often I'm gonna see you, but I'm happy to see you again, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing, like how you were saying that they don't charge. I think last I at WonderCon was the first time I ever paid to meet Todd McFarlane, and the only
Mm.
reason he was charging is because he was charging because he was going to use all the money that he raised at WonderCon to help out with all the fires that happen around California.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's a really cool, really sick thing.
exactly. So not only did you get your free one that they did a raffle for online,
Yeah, yeah.
but if you didn't get a chance to win that, he's like, yeah, you can come pay this. I think he was only charging like $40, which is not even crazy
40
amount.
bucks?
Exactly.
Damn, I could have met him.
Yeah,
I should have.
yeah. He's like, yeah,
That was
just
cool.
yeah, because he was charging $40, and then he said at the end, the total end, he was gonna match it. So,
Wow. So he doubled that whatever
exactly.
he made.
So basically,
Dang, I hope
if he made $10,000 that weekend, he's
pushed
donating
in
20.
20.
He's sending 20.
Wow. That's crazy. I'm happy to hear that because yeah, that's
Hmm.
crazy because like all he's I mean, all it comes from, like his success, all came from his art.
Exactly.
And that led into the toys and that led into his business and that led into basically everything he's done since. But I just think it's cool, like that Spider-Man like drawing that I
Hmm.
homage because of him is literally uh a cool moment in history, in his history, that he could say like, oh yeah, even though he doesn't, he probably has like fond memories, but
Hmm.
everyone loves Spider-Man, so they just make sure to show him like get his Spider-Man signed by him. But I'm like, even though he moved on and did his own thing, like if he never did Spider-Man, he probably wouldn't get here. But I'm just saying like it's so crazy how like working with Marvel, working with DC led him to create Image and basically
Hmm.
inspired all these other artists to say like, hey, I could do it myself, and then hopefully inspire other people. And it's really cool to hear that he's using his platform in like the best way.
For sure.
Mhm.
But I mean, that's all I have for you right now. I appreciate you joining me here, man.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
I
Thank you
hope
for having me.
yeah, I hope you had a good time sharing your story. I know I enjoyed, especially I got to skim through your Instagram while we talked,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
I love your artwork, like I said, and
Thanks,
your
thanks. I
style.
just realized I've drawn a few, but I have never drawn Deadpool like individually. So I definitely plan on doing a Deadpool like individual piece. So that when he does, I'll make sure to tag you in that. Or when I do, I'll make sure to tag you.
For
But
sure. And
yeah, I'm excited to do all that. But yeah, thanks again for having me, man.
yeah, absolutely. Again, thank you for joining me. I know you're busy throughout the week, but
Yeah, I try to be.
it's all good. I know. Like I said, I definitely wanted you on the show just to show off your artwork, talk
Thanks,
about
man.
it, and just so we can get into it. What are your upcoming cons? You got anything coming up so people can catch you up on some shows? Maybe hit you up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a few. I've made sure to plan things a little better than I did last year. Last year was my first year, so now I
Hmm.
know the names, the destinations of where these events are.
Hmm.
I have some lined up. Like this month, I'm basically gonna be booked every weekend of May. Starting off with Free Comic Book Day over here. I live in Ontario, California, so Inland Empire. Uh, my LCS Rancho Cucamonga, Four Color Fantasies is having a really sick like for a free comic book day event with other local artists. A few
Oh,
of them are
nice.
my friends, so it's free. It's in the morning, and there's some pretty cool prizes if you guys come in cosplay or whatever. But just to check out some really cool local creative artists or just writers or whoever that come around that live around here. But
Hmm.
um, after that, I'll be in Tustin, where in Orange County, where they're gonna have basically at their local library, they're gonna have like a comic event similar to Free Comic Book Day, but
Hmm.
free to the public. Just have uh, creators and artists set up, basically do the same thing, and then that same weekend, I'm gonna be at the Rose Bowl uh, flea market. They do that once a month, and a few artists there have set up there before, and I go every month, so this is my first time just setting up my stuff and seeing how that
Nice.
goes.
Hmm.
And then the weekend after that, it's gonna be Comic Con Revolution. So my local like convention, I'm gonna be there, be set up with my comic book store. So Four Color Fantasies
Oh, nice.
booth, I'll be set up with them, which is really cool. I'm really like honored and lucky to be tabling with them. And then May 24th, Pasadena Comic Con. And then May 31st, I'll be at Golden Apple Comics with my buddies Xander and Phil, who are
Hmm.
having like an event for Xander. But there's some collabs that we're doing with my artwork as well as Phil. So
Hmm.
we'll be there. And then after that, it's going to be NostalgiaCon in Anaheim. So that weekend I'm be pretty booked. But throughout the year, if you guys follow me on Instagram at Kevin Tran Art underscore, I always keep up. Like I post all the events I'll be at, or I'll let people know ahead of time. So if you guys want to try to catch me at any of them, I'll make sure to share that.
For sure. And then I'm going to make sure I put all your info in the comment
Cool.
section below
Thanks.
so people can reach out to you if they want to hit you up for some commissions or anything like that, or
Mm.
like they want to keep up to see what cons you're going to be at just so they can get in touch with you. So,
Yeah. And then last but not least, I just remind that just reminded me the last big one I'm gonna do in like the span of like the 2 months is
hmm,
Heroes Con in North Carolina. So if you're from the East Coast,
nice.
watch Jay's show. I'll be over there too.
Nice. Yeah.
Hmm.
So, definitely, if you guys are at any of those cons, make sure you hit up Kevin because,
All
like I
right, thank
said,
you.
amazing work. And I know I'll keep getting more stuff from you.
Thanks, man. Yeah. You got some pretty cool ones. Like I kind of now just save all my like Deadpool energy just for you.
Yeah, because I never get enough of the guy. So,
That's awesome, bro.
yeah. But again, Kevin, I appreciate you joining me and talking about yourself a little bit. So, thanks again, man.
Cool. Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Yeah, but all right, everybody. I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.
Just